Yeah, Roger, I'm sure, is chasing the kids around the Magic Kingdom as we speak. He's getting his workout in this week, there's no doubt about that, chasing Brady and Rachel around, so good luck to him. He's counting down the hours, I'm sure, until he goes back to his hectic work schedule, so he doesn't have to chase the kids around anymore.
So the way the show works, Chris and I will talk a little bit about some sports topics that have kind of come up between last week and this week. Then we have a special guest interview. The Northeastern Nitros are in the house for second week in a row. They're, I'm sure we'll get into it a little later, but they're coming off a 50-0 win last weekend. So that's pretty impressive, and they have their first home game next weekend.
I'm not going to lie to you, they're a little intimidating. I didn't play high school football, so I think that tells you a lot about my toughness right there. Even.
Well, 50-0 is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
so,
no kidding.
So we'll bring them up, hear a little about them, find out how we can get tickets to those games this summer, or spring. And then the fun part of the night, not like the rest of it isn't fun, but we get into ranting. So we'll have some people walking around. Ryan is somewhere walking around with a sign-up sheet, and Scott might help if he ever puts down his burger. Signing you up for ranting. Basically, you come up, give us like a 30-second rant about some sports topic, maybe something that Chris and I touch on.
There's a lot going on this week.
Yeah,
plenty to rant about. Yeah.
Any Met fans out there? I think I saw a Mets hat over at the Nitro table. Then we'll have the Nitros are actually going to be our special guest judges tonight, and we have some really awesome prizes to give away. Yep. We have 2 pairs of tickets to Saturday, or 1 pair to Saturday, 1 to Sunday of the New York Yankees.
Yeah, if you weren't sure whether or not you wanted to come up and rant about a sports topic, I mean, this is the best that I've seen anyway. This is the best prize we've ever given away, is 2 pairs of Yankees tickets.
Yeah, and they're field level, section 110. So first and second place will both have Yankee tickets for this weekend to see Mr. Albert Pujols as an Angel.
You might get C.J. Wilson pitching for the Angels, so you might see Albert Pujols and C.J. Wilson. Not bad.
All right, so that's some of our prizes. We have some other prizes too. The Nitros have some stuff to give away. So we got a lot of fun stuff. But I mean, let's get into it. I think the hot sports topic in New York tonight just got underway. The Rangers are kicking off their postseason.
And believe it or not, they're the 1 seed, the Senators are the 8, and I've actually seen more than just a few quote-unquote experts picking the Senators to win like 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, the Senators are a solid team. It's a tough draw for the Rangers.
Yeah, but I think Lundqvist is quite possibly the best goalie in the NHL this year. I mean, you get a hot goaltender in the playoffs, that's really all you need.
Yeah,
so.
and you look at it, the Rangers did, they finished first. They had the most points in the Eastern Conference.
Right.
So, I mean, and as a New Yorker, I obviously have to favor, I have the Rangers as a favorite. Hopefully they get a couple rounds in, maybe an appearance in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I think they definitely win this series. As a Devils fan, I'm hoping New Jersey can take care of business in the first round in the NHL playoffs, so you reseed, so you would get Devils, Rangers in all likelihood in the second round, and that's what as a Devils fan, that's what I want. I want you guys.
Hey,
second round.
You got to go through the number 1 seed eventually. You either got to beat the number 1 or beat the team that beat the number 1.
Right.
So right now, the Eastern Conference goes through Madison Square Garden. So we'll see what happens tonight. It looks like the Rangers are going on a power play early in the first period.
There's no better building than Madison Square Garden at playoff time. No better building. Remember '94, this is going way back, but when you had the Rangers and the Knicks in the finals at the same time, it was great. And you're not going to get the Knicks there this year, but you could have the Rangers and the Knicks both in the playoffs at the same time. That'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Knicks have 8 games remaining. They won a big one last night against Milwaukee to keep their 7th seed.
They need 30-plus points every night out of Carmelo Anthony if they're going to win games.
Yeah, I mean, their point guard's out, Lynn's out, but Davis has been playing pretty well. That was a pretty big signing now.
And Stoudemire should be back soon. The problem is...
Are the Knicks better without Stoudemire?
Yes, they are probably better without Stoudemire and or Melo. Like, the two of them just don't necessarily fit on the floor at the same time. Now, I would argue they're better with Melo than with Stoudemire because he's more of a scorer, and they need that. He's going to have to average more than 30 points a game in order for them to make any noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then, I mean, going into the playoffs, now you're looking at if the Knicks can keep that 8 or 7, you're looking at most likely either the Bulls
I'd
or
rather have the 8.
Yeah, I'd
play
rather
the
play
Bulls.
the Bulls.
I'd rather play the Bulls than the Heat.
Derrick Rose has been banged up all year. I mean, it's funny, we beat them with Derrick Rose and then lost to them.
Right. Well, the Knicks are awful on the road. I mean, that's the big difference. They can't win a road game to save their lives. I think they're 11 and 18 or something like that on the road this year. They're awful. But they're good at the Garden, so you have to hope that you can steal one on the road in the playoffs and then win all of your home games. That's not easy.
Well, we'll get to that, I'm sure, in the coming weeks.
Now, you're a Mets fan. As a Braves fan, I'm sure you were really riding high after that opening weekend.
I did talk a lot of smack because I don't know how long it'll last, so I had to get my...
Well, it's already on its way down.
Well, can't win them all, but Strasburg pitched a heck of a game.
He did. And you have to like the fact that Santana has looked healthy. He hasn't got deep into a game yet, but that's only a matter of time, I think.
What you can't like is Jason Bay is struggling again already. Mike Davis can't see him. He did get his first base hit yesterday of the season, but I think he's like 1 for 19.
Yeah.
And then David Wright broke his finger, so he's out for a while.
This is sort of the way we expected it to go. It was the 4-0 start we didn't expect. But Daniel Murphy's been really good. Ruben Tejada's been out of this world. And if you get a little bit from Duda or Neuenhuis,
yeah,
I'm really stretching here, I know, but I'm trying to give you some hope.
I don't know. I don't see it.
Who's going to win the East, though? I mean, I would argue Philly is way past their prime in terms of their lineup.
2 of their best players are going to be on the DL for a little while. It looks like Utley's starting to rehab now, but I don't think Howard could even run yet, so he's a little far away out. But I agree. I think they are a little past their prime.
Is Miami the best team in that division?
It's so funny to say Miami. I keep wanting to say Florida.
Me too. I know.
But yeah, I mean, I think what happened in the NL East, the Mets. Forget about the Mets because they're not going to be included in this comment. But the Nationals got much better, and the top team, the Phillies, kind of took a step back.
Yep.
So what happened was now you have a little more parity in the NL East, and you're going to see, maybe they'll get 1 of the 2 wild cards.
Yeah, I mean, I think a team with 90 wins could win that division. Yeah,
and those teams are going to knock each other off.
And still, I would argue it's one of the stronger divisions in baseball. The team who wins the division may not have that great of a record, but I think it's going to be like the Big East in basketball. They just beat each other up all season long.
They'll be battle tested for the playoffs.
As a Yankees fan, you've got to love this start for the Red Sox, huh?
Well, I know our manager on duty tonight here is a diehard Red Sox fan.
I think he's looking at me crooked.
I think they're already 3 games out of first place, 5 games into the season. But
yeah, they're 1-5 to start. Bobby V, by the way, did you hear him on WEEI? He got a little testy. I think it was this morning. Kurt Schilling made a comment that maybe Bobby Valentine isn't the right guy for the job because he's a smart guy, but he just may not fit the Red Sox clubhouse the way they like to do things. He's not allowing the beer and chicken in there, and Bobby V kind of shot back this morning. So already, like, they're 1-5, 6 games in the season, and the sky is falling in Boston all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they remember last year, but they started out, was it
0-6 and like 2-10 or something like that. Yeah.
So they did start turning things around. They won. They lost yesterday, but they won the day before. So and they played some tough teams starting off the year. But they have
the Rangers and then the Yankees coming up, and they do the 100th anniversary of Fenway Park. Not this weekend, but the following weekend with the Yankees in town. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I wonder if they planned that.
I'm sure Major League Baseball knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah, exactly.
All right, well,
So we have local teams to rant about, but we have Ozzie Guillen, who caused a lot of controversy this week.
On that.
We have Bobby Petrino, who caused a lot of controversy this week. There's plenty to rant about. It doesn't have to just pertain to a local team. It can pertain to anything that's going on in the world of sports.
Yeah, just real quick on Ozzie Guillen, I'm going to put in my 2 cents. A lot of people are saying it's ridiculous. All he did was voice his opinion. How are you going to suspend a guy for just... And I said, listen, that's going to have a financial effect on the team. Now you got all these boycotters outside who aren't going to go to a game, and they're trying to convince other people, especially because it's such a hardcore Spanish market there.
Right.
I mean, they're in Little Havana, in Miami.
A lot of the advertisers are Cuban-owned or Cuban-run corporations. So you're talking about advertising dollars perhaps leaving the stadium. But for anyone who says, I don't get the big deal about Ozzie Guillen's comments and why he should be punished for them, think about it this way. I mean, if you don't really quite understand the devastation that Fidel Castro has caused in Cuba, think about it if a manager or a coach had favorable comments about Adolf Hitler. Now, in fact, in the late 90s, Cincinnati Reds owner Mark Schott said something that might resemble a favorable comment about Adolf Hitler. She was suspended for the entire season. So I think 5 games is lenient, and yet at the same time, based on the amount of contrition he showed at his press conference, I would say 5 games is enough as well.
And I don't think anybody could be that shocked. I mean, maybe the comment was a little out there, but you knew bringing in Ozzie Guillen, he was going to cause some controversy and stir things up a little bit. And, you know, this first little stir-up was probably not what the Marlins were hoping for.
No, I mean, this is by far the worst they could imagine, I'm sure. But 5 games without pay, he'll be back in a week or so, and they will hope the fans find some way to forgive him and come out and spend money at their stadium.
And they'll hope that Jose Reyes is still off the DL.
That's your boy, Jose.
Oh, well, he's no longer my boy. All right, well, let's take a couple minutes. Take a break. We'll bring up the Nitros in a couple minutes, and then we'll get into the rants for the Yankee tickets.
All right.